Lots of errors. Guest destination error occurred.
Okay, premium account and X is required. Let me remove X because I think you told me that, right?
Yeah.
Now let's see.
Okay. I think it's okay. I think it's working.
I removed X.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. All right. In case you're still on the stream or you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I don't think there's anyone, but hey, we continue the journey.
Yeah.
How's it going?
We will. I thought we were going to have a 33% increase in our viewership because your co-founder is going to join, right?
Yeah, he had to. Unfortunately, it's the first week of school. I was just telling you, and he's got 3 kids, so I guess the schools are asking the parents to be like super involved, and he's also working, at a company that we're working on. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So he wasn't able to join. But hopefully next week. He basically what he did was he made a like a football simulation text-based game with AI, and he was going to show that off.
Interesting. Yeah. I actually talked to somebody else who did that, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been picking up steam, and he's gotten a bunch of users. So he can share.
A former football player who did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
They should connect.
Yeah, seriously. Have him on the show and tell.
I haven't I'll have to reach back out. I haven't
all right. Sounds like you've been doing. Oh, go ahead.
It looked cool actually, because it was like a little like it looked almost like the old like Tecmo Bowl kind of, those old video games where you like have the little like X's and O's.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a playbook. Like it's like a way for you to like see the playbook and like, it's for like managing the game more.
Interesting. Okay. I think my co-founder did something that's like managing the season and doing like simulating trades and setting your starting lineup, but not the plays themselves, I think. Yeah. But I'll let him describe it.
Yeah. Well, we digress. This is a little different than our usual 12 p.m. Eastern time slot.
Yeah.
But hopefully people will be watching this recorded, if not live. So
yeah, you hooked up your YouTube, but
so I have hooked up my YouTube. So that there's 38 subscribers on that puppy. So let's we don't that could
you gotta get your LinkedIn on here, man. That's where
TikTok is my #1 audience right now, but I don't know if you do the RMT.
You got to hook that up, dude. Just tell Claude to hook it up. It'll do it.
Well, after we're done with this, I do want to do one tech check thing with you, which is if I can plug in my Substack. So that would be good. But
let's do it.
Should we get to the show and tell? So if anybody sees this for the first time, basically we're doing these Friday show and tells, particularly geared, open to anyone, but I personally think it's particularly relevant for solo founders who are building by themselves. You can come, show what you're working on, get feedback, and and just see what others are working on too.
Yeah, it's a good format to kind of just very casual, just show what you're up to. Now, thus far, it's been me and Zan, but the hope is that we will increase the viewership and increase the number of participants as we continue to stay consistent with this.
Yeah. Well, and then part of that is like, at least we can do 1% or we can do 5% improvement every week. So we have to improve by something by 1% every week.
I kind of feel like
this is from Mr. Beast, by the way. It basically
kind of feel we got worse by 10% this week. We started late. We moved the stream last minute, which LinkedIn doesn't like. We had a co-founder who was supposed to join. I tried to promote this thing, but then obviously we changed the time, so the promotion was messed up. So I think we got to figure out our operations.
But we had a few hiccups this week. But I did improve. Yeah. I did do my 1% improvement, which was to connect my YouTube. So as you know from your investing background, that really compounds over time, right? 1% a week. What is that annual return? Right.
I've been doing a lot of option stuff recently. So there's a lot of stuff I was even thinking about writing about it. But yeah, 1% a week. I mean, that would be great if you could actually.
1% a day would be even better, but we are doing this weekly. So let's do 1% or we could do 5% a week. That would be huge too. But 1% a week is good, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, we'll just get better. We'll get better at this. And hopefully the stuff that we're talking about is interesting for people because I think content matters a lot these days.
Yeah. I think I will be, to be fair, I think this format is a good format. You can kind of feel it for yourself too. And like, I feel like this is a good format. It's just like over time, we just need to bring in more people. And I think there's something here.
I don't know. I was thinking about this. I'm not convinced on this format because it's just me and you at the moment, and we're kind of talking about what we're up to. But I actually like what we've done so far because it's a bit more of a podcast format, which I like, which is what I wanted. But I know you want more folks to come in and show and tell their stuff. So that to me, I'm a little bit like, okay, let's try it out. I'm not as convinced, but
Well, what
it's
I'm
worth
saying is
trying.
like, well, anyways, maybe we can talk about this after. But like podcast, this could be the podcast, right? It's just people come on, you just post it as a podcast. Like you do the live and then you just post it as a podcast where it's like somebody's showing what they're working on.
Possibly. So, I'm not convinced, but we can talk about it.
I don't know. Okay, we can talk about what you had in mind, but I like the format. I like the show and tell format. I think there's something there.
I do agree. It's a good format. It's a good format. So
but with any kind of content, the hard part is like you have to be willing to go through like a long, potentially, I'm not saying that's the ideal, like you have to try to avoid it, but like you have to basically just post with zero viewership for like a long period of time until it picks up traction.
Agreed.
But like try to improve incrementally every time. So
agreed. Yeah, I'm in agreement there. And I think we're gonna try that, right? Like I promoted it a little bit more this week. You connected your YouTube. We can connect.
I'm gonna send it out to my email newsletter. I have it all ready to go now that I have the YouTube ready.
Okay.
I mean, now that I've connected it to YouTube, so that's the next. So that will be my next week's 1%.
Okay. I do think the timing matters. I think we just need to pick a time and stay with it. Like no calls 30 minutes before or after, and make sure that we hit it because I think that's really important.
Oh, we have one viewer.
Hey, hello, viewer.
Is that you?
Oh, it's probably me. But if not, hey, what's going on?
Facebook.
All right. Well, that's not me, but welcome, Facebook viewer. Hopefully you're interested and you want to share next week.
All right, so let's do the show and tell. So this is so for the person who's on, once a week we're doing like a show and tell just to kind of talk about either something we've learned this week or talk about something that we are building. So
cool. Do you want to start or should I?
Why don't you go first, and then I have one thing I wanted to share too.
Okay, so let's see. The past few weeks I've been sharing a lot about what I have been building. I think today I'm going to share something that's a little bit different. And if anybody's watching this and you have not seen the past couple of weeks, I do think it's worth viewing because a lot of the stuff I went over, you can start to see how you can build real complicated apps just with AI. Today, I'm going to share something a little bit different. I'm actually going to open up a Word document. And let's see here. All right, so here's the context. I've been working with a retail apparel company to get their data infrastructure in place and build some data apps on top of it. One of them I actually, it's Salima. What's up? Okay, I know who's watching. Hey, Salima. All right. So one of the things that I've been doing is building a demand forecasting tool on top of inventory. And so what that means is if you're a retailer, you want to produce apparel, but you don't really know how much to produce, and you want to make sure you're not leaving money on the table, you want to essentially forecast demand. And so what I built is something that forecasts demand using machine learning. And then on top of that, we've been building additional dashboards on top of this data. And so this data warehouse basically is a Snowflake data warehouse. Oops, what happened to my screen here? Give me a second. So we have all this data in a data warehouse. I'm going to share my screen really quick. And one of the problems is this data warehouse was built in a kind of a haphazard way with an offshore team. They're great, but there was not, when this data warehouse was built, there was no cohesive plan for how to put together a system that makes sense. And so what's happened is it's grown over time in a haphazard way. And because of that, we are now making our applications a little bit more janky and hacky than they need to be. And so what I've done is I've actually used AI to do like a professional audit of the data warehouse. And I put together a document, this document that you guys are seeing here, that I sent over to the leadership team with an audit and suggestions about what needs to be changed. So if I go down to the meat, I'm just going to walk through the meat and potatoes at the highest level because I don't want to go through too many details. But essentially, what we did was we broke it down. I say we, but Claude basically broke down what its findings were into sort of 4 key levels: critical, high, medium, and low. And then this document provides an executive overview of what was found, as well as details about each of the key findings. And so something that would have taken probably, we actually had, here's an example. So one finding here, quick paragraph, purpose, what happened and how do you fix it? So we had actually done a request for proposal, or at least talked to a few data consultants for doing something like this. And they had quoted us, a 14-week project, about $20,000. And what I did was I went through with Claude. I said, you have to act as a data consultant. You have access to this data warehouse. Your job is to do an audit, finding all key ideas, key issues. And over the course of a couple of days, now let me take a step back, because I've been working with Claude on this data warehouse for about 2 months now, all in the same conversation. Claude had a little bit of a background of the data and the structure of this data warehouse. But I said, hey, think from scratch, think clearly, launch sub-agents that have no knowledge of this data warehouse. Take what they find and combine it with your own knowledge and produce this audit. This audit came back with a bunch of really interesting results and findings, and we were able to do it in 2 days. And all I had to do was use my Claude subscription. So this is an example of something that I did work on. I built, quote unquote, built it, but it was something that saved the company a lot of money, not having to bring in an outside consultant, and the results were all pretty good. And I checked all of them, and they all made sense. So this is what I'm sharing today. It's not a product, it's not software, but it's still something that has a lot of value for the company.
So the data. So can you go back to the top for a second? I just had a question.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the result. This is the result of what you did, right? You did the audit, and then it produced this result.
Pretty much. I mean, the audit, if you think about any audit, what you're trying to do is find the things that are good, bad, and ugly, and they need fixing. So the audit that we did found the areas within the data warehouse that, were needed fixing. And so this is what we found, and this is the document that lists them all.
Yeah. Okay. So, and was there anything you thought it didn't do a good job of? Because
man, great question. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that was a question, because sometimes there's like the things you can do with AI, but then sometimes people are so reliant on it that they don't realize when it actually screws up or doesn't do what you're supposed to.
This thing totally screwed up. It screwed up like crazy when I first did it, and it required a lot of handholding. So again, this is me, like the AI. I'm like a heavy power user of AI, which is probably why I'm so pessimistic on its capabilities these days. It's screwed up royally. It screwed up royally. It came up with things that had nothing to do with the data or the data warehouse. It came up with things that had nothing to do with like the business. It came up with totally meaningless results that it then classified as critical and high. And so after the first couple of passes, I had to go back and I had to completely tell it to rethink the way it's doing things, give it examples for how it should think about what's critical, what's high, give it examples for where it should be focusing. It also missed 5 or 10 things. I told it to basically act as a data consultant. I told it to think about things from scratch. I launched 2 or 3 different applications, both ChatGPT and Codex. I launched multiple sub-agents, and even all of those passes missed a bunch of stuff. And I had to do 3 or 4 different passes from scratch for it to find everything. And even then, it was poorly done. And so I really struggled to get this thing to act as a human expert when it should have done so from the start. And it required a lot of my time. But yet, all that said, it was still faster than hiring a consultant and paying a bunch of money.
Yeah, I think for it's important stuff, that close oversight is like pretty important, at least right now. Until I'm still figuring out like the places where you can trust it more versus less. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool to see and it's cool to do, but man, I'm souring on the possibility of AI actually taking over a lot of work over like in the next few months and weeks and years. But we'll see.
I don't know. You were also skeptical about AI doing more coding work last year.
I was, and it got way better. But I still think it sucks when it comes to software engineering as a whole. It's definitely not a senior software engineer, but it's better than what I had before. So it's one of those things where you give a mouse a cookie and he'll ask for a glass of milk. I'm asking for a whole full meal like a ribeye steak. So I know I'm very demanding of the AI.
Yes, I've seen your chats before. That's very demanding.
My wife, I started I think we talked about this earlier. I started doing text to type to speech, text to type or whatever, where I was
Oh.
talking to the machine. My wife came up to me, she's like, I can't sit here all day and listen to you talk to the machine like this. Like you have to be nicer, you can't talk so with such an irritating voice. And I was like, okay, I will try to be nicer to the AI. And I am gonna try to be nicer, not because the AI cares, but because I'm trying to be better overall.
Oh, well, see, that's a good goal right there.
Yeah.
Actually, well, the other day I did a real-time voice conversation.
Oh yeah.
I have done that a little bit. That was actually kind of a game changer. I don't know. I have to figure out a good way to
Yeah.
demo that. But I mean, I'm sure there's going to be new hardware and stuff like that coming out that's more like voice first. But I did a real-time voice conversation because now I think I might have told you, I have a Mac Mini. I have
Mhm.
that has all the context, it has everything and the stuff I'm working on. And then, so I just had my headphones on. I was walking around. I was actually doing exercise, and then I was like talking about
It's
all
great.
the stuff that needed to be done. And I was like telling it to the things it needed to do, and it was like giving me updates on what, like what are the things that need to be done, and then it could actually take action because it has access to the computer. So it was like kind of crazy. It feels like, I don't know. I feel like in the next was like voice becomes more and more common, it's going to change a lot of how we work. In some
Yeah.
ways, really good because it also could be like, hey, I could exercise, or I don't have to be stuck in front of the screen
Yeah.
the whole time. So,
It's pretty sweet.
okay, my demo for today. I got two things I wanted to show today.
All right.
I don't think I showed this before, but let me. This is not from this week, but I know a lot of people like it. I've been using this thing. I've been trying out this skill. Did I tell you about this? It's called Last 30 Days. Have you seen
No,
this?
no. Tell me
It's like
more.
a skill it's a skill for your Claude or for really any agent. But it's got a like, and for anybody who's non-technical, this part looks technical, but basically it's really easy to set up. But it's got like 60,000 stars on GitHub. There's a ton of people that always say this is like really great. But basically what it does is it's good for basically researching any topic you might want to research. And it looks up like, what are people saying about this topic in the last 30 days? And the plus side is, obviously you do have to, in some cases, you may have to have an API key, or you may have to connect a source to get the resource, but it goes across a bunch of different resources. So like Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and just basically searches, what people are saying about a topic. So like other people I know that I've spoken to, and I've started using it a bit for some of this stuff too, is like, okay, if you want to research what somebody is talking about before a meeting, let's say you're meeting with someone or a company and you want to research, you can run it for that. You can run it for, like for example, for like comparison stuff. Or sometimes if I'm looking at a new product idea and I want to run some research to say, hey, are there any demand signals for this product? That's another use. So anyways, you can use it for anything. Technically, some of this you probably could do with just like a regular Claude. But I've heard and I've seen in some cases that because this is going to multiple sites that maybe they don't always check, it does like a better job of synthesizing. So for my demo today, I thought I would just take one topic. And do you have a topic? Do you have something you want to research? And we can see how it works.
Well, one thing I've started diving into myself is a lot like Lucchese, one of the companies I'm working with, they're developing a lot of internal dashboards. They're vibe coding a lot of internal tools with Claude.
Yeah.
And while that's great for everybody, it means the IT team has no knowledge of what's out there, Nobody is connecting this to their Active Directory. So I guess the concept of how many companies now are vibe coding their own internal tools, and is this a problem for them? I would be very curious to learn about that.
Yeah. So let's try it. So basically, to add the skill, you just have to tell Claude, like, add the last 30-day skill or install the plugin, and it'll kind of go out and find it and do it. So in my case, I've already done it. So it's just, you can see, like, when I hit / I see last 30 days. Oh, sorry. And then you can just type in whatever. So I guess in your case, it would be like, are people trying to solve, so how would you describe it? Like internal tools, or are people struggling with using internal tools, or what would you say?
I would say something like, are IT teams struggling to deal with all of the internal vibe coded tools their employees are making?
Internal vibe coded tools built by employees. Let's see what it comes back with.
Cool. Do you mostly use the command line, or I actually started using the desktop app a lot more now?
I use desktop mostly. I use the desktop app, but just this skill, like I said, I'm still getting used to using this skill. It's just that I hear a lot of people talking about how much they like this skill. So that's why I wanted to even try it live and see how it does. But I'm gonna stop sharing, I guess, while it does that, and then it'll just kind of run. I think it sometimes takes a few minutes because it's basically doing it. But I did one ahead of time. I'll see what it came up with. I did one before, because one thing I was trying to research is for the cloud computer thing that I've demoed in the past, I wanted to research, like, hey, how are people using like VPS? VPS means like virtual private server. It's like a server in the cloud. So I was researching that. So I ran one for that, and it came up with some information on my query. Like, so it produced like a simple report that basically talks about like what people are saying about this topic, right? Like disk space is expensive, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, it basically produced a report on like what is useful about this topic, and like specific threads from Reddit. I think this is from Reddit, where people are talking about this topic. So,
okay. Have you used the results of this to do anything?
Not. I would say I'm not a regular right now. Part of what I'm trying to see is like, I could see if it works well. I think part of it is I do have a need to like research all these sources. Like sometimes when I need to say know what people are thinking about, I'll actually go to X, which is like Twitter, and I'll ask Grok, well, hey, like, what are people saying about this? You know, and then it is connected to Twitter, and then it'll basically do that. So in theory, I could like connect this to a bunch of places, you know, and just get like real-time information.
Well, that's cool.
So let's see how long it takes to run, but let's see. I think
it's done.
I think the only limitation on mine right now is it's not connected to any like paid tools. So, but I know a lot of people that will try to find signals of demand with, you know, like one way to find demand is to just look at what people are posting about on Reddit or even on Twitter, being like, hey, this experience was terrible, or why is this so expensive, or, you know, whatever it is. So I think that would be my number one use case if this works.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So,
what are the free tools that you can use?
I think it searches a bunch of them, like Hacker News, maybe Reddit. I think it did Reddit before, but I know some of them have also started blocking them.
Okay.
Let's see what it came back with. Oh, I think it came back with something. Just a second. Let me pull it up. This part of the demo is probably a little more boring. So stand by. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do you want to share what you're typing, or is it?
No. I was just asking it to give it. I was just asking it to give me like an HTML or something so that I can get it back.
Okay.
But here, I can share if you like, because I was just going to actually share the results, which I think is probably the most interesting.
I mean, I would be interested. I've
Oh, sure.
started doing cold outreach actually to understand this topic more because there might be a product opportunity in it.
Yeah. And have you found your cold outreach working? I know you were
We
looking at some methods, which is another topic people are always curious about.
we just got the inboxes warmed up this week, and we just started sending emails on Monday, so it's a little bit too early to say for sure.
Yeah. So right now it gave me, let's see what it gave back. It said, the most concrete evidence is from, that's why I asked it to put it in an HTML file just to see if I
Oh
could
yeah,
make it a
okay.
little easier to read because it was giving it to me in this format.
Mm,
Hard-coded secrets is one.
yeah.
Oh,
Now
let's,
I think there's a product opportunity here, Zan, to build something like a Vercel for internal teams. I
yeah,
think I might have mentioned this to you.
you
So
did.
this is something I'm super curious about.
Well, let's see what it came back with. We'll see how good this is. So IT teams are losing 30-day scan of security research, hacker news discussion, GitHub activity. Oh yeah, it also searches GitHub. Vibe, 40% of scanned vibe-coded apps expose sensitive data. That's a good stat.
I don't know how real that is. I would definitely need to
We'll
check
have
that
to, yeah, we'll
myself.
have to like
Yeah.
verify where it got that from.
Yeah.
That it looks like that it just got from, let's see, this article. Anyways, it
Yeah.
goes on. It's got some information. It's got
Okay.
some coverage. Interesting. Has some hacker news stuff. Yeah, I'm also wondering why if I'm using it correctly because I feel like I've heard a lot of people saying that they love this skill. So I'm like, but I don't know. So far as yeah, my verdict is like, I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of, it didn't do that much. Maybe I'm using
I'm
it wrong.
not impressed, but maybe they're using it differently. I don't know.
I guess if I plug it into all the sources, maybe it would be better because there is a lot of sources listed here, and I
Yeah.
haven't taken the time to do that. So
Yeah,
maybe it's
possible.
better if I like if you look at all the sources, there's actually a lot of sources that they support, which I agree would be useful. So like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Hacker News. I do want this. I do want this if it works how it says it's gonna. But anyways, all right, that
Cool.
was my. Oh, I had one other quick one. Do we have time or are we out of time?
We got a few minutes. Yeah.
The other one was, it's not a demo, but this is just like a post I thought was interesting, is I talked about this last time. I think I might have mentioned it last time, which is I was trying to think of this company that had put out a policy about like, hey, you still have to own the work that you produce with AI, right? Because it's like what's happening is a lot of people are like churning out these AI documents, and then the people on the other side are like, did you even look at this? Or what is the, like, is this, and they might, you don't know if it's any good or if it's just like something that was churned out with no thought behind it.
Yep.
So that, I know it was the company is Clay. If you've heard of the company Clay, they're like a BD kind of tool. But basically they put out this policy that I thought was actually pretty good. It's like they had these 4 principles, which is like, you must stand behind every idea and sentence. So even if AI generates something, it's your responsibility to make sure the entire document is representative of your thoughts. Whether or not you check every word, it's kind of like, is this, you need to stand behind the document and have accountability for it. And then a second thing that I thought was interesting was like, spending time on the writing process teaches you more about the topic. So think spending more time writing the document versus the amount of time somebody has to spend consuming it. And then longer is not better. so like, AI tends to produce like really, really long documents, which sometimes I've been on the other side of too. And it's like, just try to, what is the most concise way to get an idea across? So I don't know if you put anything in your prompts or anything to like make it like work better, but anyways, that was the second thing. I thought that policy was interesting, and I think more companies will do that looking forward.
Yeah, I think so. I've had the same problems myself recently, and I just talked to my co-founder, and he's like, Opus has been a nightmare to work with, like just producing lots and lots of slop. I have every other message for me is like, hey, please speak in normal English. Talk to me like I'm a 10th grader, no jargon, no shorthand.
Yeah. I think it's, yeah, and it's also like, if you're sending something to somebody else and you can't stand behind it, or you don't know what's in it, then you're putting the burden on the
Yeah.
other person to figure out, like,
Yeah.
is this just crap or is this
Yeah.
something good?
That's why I had to review every finding in that document I showed you just now, the audit. There were like 40 findings and I had to review all of them, and 10 of them were junk. And yeah, I mean, it's important. You still have to own
Now
the
multiply
work.
that times 1,000 people in the company all sending, like
Yeah.
thousands of AI generated stuff. And I think,
Yeah.
that's so. Anyways, it's yeah, it's an interesting topic, but that's what I had for today.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing, and thanks. Salima had a great question. I'm just going to pop it up right here. Thanks for sharing. What's the goal of this? I think our goal right now is generating awareness of what we're up to, building a small community, having folks understand sort of what's available, and then obviously long term, you'd want to have folks that you could work with or be customers. But really, the goal is to just get this out there and show people what we're up to, give folks a chance to learn and share themselves.
And I'd
If
say
that's
the
interesting.
goal, like I'd add one thing, is the goal from like a viewer standpoint is just, especially like in my case, I look a lot at like people who are building things. A lot more people are building things with AI, but and also there's a lot more solo founders, and so it's an opportunity for people to just show what they're working on and get feedback, and vice versa, for other people to learn, because I learn a lot every time I see what somebody else is working on and how they work. So it's just an opportunity to learn from each other without, in a way that's like demoing real stuff versus just like listening to a long presentation about something. So that's the idea.
That is definitely where I think the show and tell format works really well. Is showing something live just makes it's so much easier to see.
Yeah,
Rather than
show don't tell is usually the
don't tell.
mantra. So a lot of companies do internal show and tell. So we just thought we'd take it out to like an external format.
We used to call this lunch and learns at the
lunch and learn, show and tells. But it's like, I used to go to this is one of my models, like something I think would be cool. I used to go to a great in-person. There was like a New York tech meetup. It was in person. It was like rapid demos. Like I think I saw a super early demo of Uber at one of the New York tech meetups, like way back, like before even people knew what it was, right? So it was like rapid format demos. They have like music in between each one where you like cut to the next one, and then it's like 5 minutes per person. They show the thing. It's not like boring lecture about like some and it's just all about like show and tell. And I think that format is engaging, and it's sort of like quick, and you get to see a bunch of stuff, and it's fun.
Cool. Well, we're going to keep doing this. But to that end, Zan, I'm traveling next week on Friday.
Oh, after all the talk of
consistency and whatnot.
That's the only downside of Fridays is like there could be some from time to time stuff coming in.
Yeah, so next week and actually the week after, but I can find time in the morning if this time works for you. I think I could make this work.
Let me check. Or
earlier. Sorry,
wherever you are.
Our normal time. I mean,
just dial in from wherever you are. I could do 1 p.m. if you want to do 1 p.m. or whatever.
Cool. Well, let's do 12. But I think if that works for you, that would be.
What's our 1% improvement for next week? By the way, we should always close on this. I have one suggestion.
Good question. Yeah, what's the suggestion?
Well, I have one for myself, which is like I need to send this out in the newsletter next time.
Okay.
And then we'll see. And then, one thing is, I might have suggested. Well, actually, do you have one for yourself, or?
I have not thought about this yet, so I don't have anything off the top of my head.
One thing is like I haven't looked at the YouTube like when it actually gets posted, but it's just like if we caption it or include the transcript or something, so that if somebody is searching for, let's say, last 30 days, the skill, or like whatever, then that might actually.
Great point. That's a great point. See if we can attach the transcripts to this. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that now.
Or the heading, or like the heading, whatever it gets posted on.
Yeah,
show and tell won't show up in keywords, but like if somebody's like, searching for one of the topics we cover, that would be interesting.
Well, let's see if we could do that. This gets posted to both of our. It looks like this is getting posted to both of our YouTubes as a live stream, and there might be a tool out there that could help with this. So let's take a look at that. I'll add that to my to-do list.
All right. Awesome.
All right. We're going to
Thanks
go
for
ahead and end the
joining.
stream, but yeah, thanks
Thanks for
everybody. Have a
joining.
great
We had
weekend.
one viewer.
Hey, that's a good improvement.
All right.
All
Yeah.
righty. Thanks everyone. Have a great weekend. We are off.